Okay. I would like to call to order the March 6, 2025 Public Safety and Equity Advisory Committee meeting. And we'll do roll call first. Victoria Rizzo. Here. Woodrow Terrell. There he is. Twyla Harrington.
Here.
Mary Howell.
Here.
Sherry Winters.
Here.
Robbie Cantrell told us last month he would be absent. And we will have someone joining us. Chris Ellison told me he's from the school district, and he did tell me he was going to miss this meeting also. So wonderful. Okay, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. So let's see. Did I ask you last month? I asked you before. How about Twyla? Do you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I think we all go at once, don't we?
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Okay, item number 3, I'd like to open public comment on non-agenda items. Seeing no one in the room, I'll ask if anybody online would like to speak. Unmute yourself and state your name.
Hi, my name is Frank Stevens. Some of you already know me. I'm a Troutdale resident, and I just wanted to bring up a point from yesterday. We were down cleaning up the trail on the Sandy River for some developers coming in with Marley Boxler, who works for the city and staff. And we continue to have vehicles utilizing the shared use path to go over to the Sandy River Delta. What I'd like to do is, I've been studying this for the last 9 months, and I have a large amount of information, but rather than go into that tonight, I'd rather push that out to the next meeting. And if you guys would like to learn more, I can do a presentation for you and give you all the details and update. And also, Ray Young just sent me an email about trying to work with ODOT on coordinating some of the engineering aspects of it. Yeah, it's complicated, and it'll take more than just 5 minutes to go over. So it's up to you as a council, if you'd like to do that.
Okay, sounds good. Does that sound, you guys? Yes.
I love that. I know he
Yes.
spends quite a bit of time out there, and so
Yeah.
I bet you've got some very interesting statistics to share.
Okay, so yes, we'll put you on the agenda for next month, if that's good with you. Our meeting date we'll be talking about at the end. It's tentatively April 3rd, and we'll confirm it then. So
Awesome.
we'll confirm that with you. So, okay, thank you very much.
This is Sherry. I just want to ask that, would you be providing pictures as well at the time?
Yes, I'd be doing a PowerPoint presentation with video as well. So pictures, videos, basically probably 10 to 15 minutes of data and information, specifically in the shared use paths by vehicles. And then I can give you kind of a side note on the bike and ped counts, which correspond to the safety aspect of it.
Okay, yeah, I think I want to know from perspective, just being able to see everything, not just hear it. So you're providing pictures, that's just what I wanted. So thank you.
Yep, no worries.
Great, thank you. Anyone else wishing to address public comment on non-agenda items? All righty, then I will close public comment. Thank you very much. Next up, number 4, approval of the January 9th, 2025 meeting minutes. Did everyone have a chance to review them? And do they have any comments about corrections?
This is Sherry. I looked them over. I didn't notice anything. I will say, is there any way we can get a double batch and get caught back up?
I think they are trying to get caught up. I've actually talked to them, they're trying to, and actually Sarah, the gal who works for us, is going to be out next month, so someone else is going to be trying to have to help us. So yes, I'll ask again, but I know that they are trying to get us caught up.
It's just a little hard to recall through
Yes.
2 meetings worth to remember,
Yes.
and then other meetings having elsewhere to know who said what, so.
Yes.
it all seems like a fact when you look that far into the past.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, if no one has any corrections, I'll take a motion.
I move to accept the January 9th minutes as written.
Excellent.
This is Twilight, second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstain? All right, great. Unanimous, passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Item number 4. Okay, so next up on the agenda, number 5, review of monthly law enforcement reports from February. Okay.
Hey, everybody. I went through the calls for service log, and I really didn't have anything this month that I wanted to highlight. If we look at our law enforcement activity report, a couple things I did want to point out, specifically the extra target patrol, premise check, and traffic stop. You'll notice those numbers are all increasing, and that is intentional based on the many complaints of traffic safety issues. And so I just want to point that out, that we are attempting to address those issues. We had 7 reported stolen vehicles over this 28-day period. It appears that 3 of those were from the same location, and then there were 2 recovered. And we actually had a decrease in detective case activity. There were only 4 new cases assigned, and of those, there's only 1 that's currently still under investigation. And then when you look at the reported crime, the overall sheet, you'll see that we're either staying stagnant on person, property, and society crime, or a slight increase or decrease. So, but overall, it appears that everything is trending in the right direction. So, other than that, if you have any questions for me.
Go ahead, Twyla.
Yeah, I was just wondering about the stolen vehicles and 3 of those being from the same location. Is that from like a store or like a,
It's off Frontage Road. I don't know, I don't have the specifics right now, but I can go back to you on it. So,
oh, okay, so I don't park my car there.
700 block of Northwest Frontage Road.
Okay.
So,
I think I looked that up, and I think that's the travel center, the TA center.
Got it, that would
Yeah.
make sense.
Yep. Go
Okay,
ahead, Sherry.
all right, so I have a few, some of which you probably kind of, I was wondering on some of those increased numbers, so, but I also saw that on Vice, there's 3. Average is 1.3, and last month there was none. So I'm just wondering, is Vice drug-related or?
yes, it's kind of a catch-all for like drug, prostitution stuff. That's how those are coded.
Okay, somebody else might want to ask something, but I will say, I had noticed, maybe it's me, and I thought it was kind of weird, but I felt like there was a lot of disturbance type stuff on the service log this time. And I wondered if that had seemed like that was an increase in some capacity. And then the other thing I'm gonna ask at the same time, maybe, at first I thought, wow, I must be missing part of this calls for service, because it seemed weird. There was no calls for service recorded anyway on the 2nd, on the 9th, on the 12th, on the 21st, 25th, and 27th.
Well, that is not accurate. So you clearly did not get all of the information, because I've got the log that has those listed in here. So what I'll do is I'll reach out and I'll have a new report generated and sent back out. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened over there, so I'll get a new report for you.
Okay, great,
Sorry
thank
about
you.
that.
Go ahead, Twyla.
And just one other question, I don't think, I'm not sure what the date was, but the recent suspicious death in the Home Depot parking lot in the cart there? Is that this month, or is that,
That was this
that was this
one.
month, so
I
would it
think
be
it was
on this one?
March
Okay,
1.
Yeah.
yeah, all right.
Can you talk about that?
Sure. It was a houseless individual, and they having a medical emergency. tried to make a makeshift gurney to take him to Mount Hood Medical, and he didn't make it.
Okay,
So it wasn't,
It wasn't suspicious.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
the news had reported it as that, so that's a good update, thank you.
Okay, I have a question. Wouldn't we see everything on this report? Wouldn't we, except for you're saying, Sherry, you said there was some dates missing? Because I see stuff for the 10th, but there was a whole lot of police cars in my neighborhood on the 10th. And that ain't listed there, so I just
Let me see what I
don't
got here.
understand.
Nick, do you know anything about this while I'm looking it up?
Which incident was it?
I don't know, something on the 10th.
Something on the 10th, and there was both Gresham and sheriff and probably 9 vehicles that showed up to arrest a young man. And he didn't come in on a car, so he just,
Where was it at?
on the historic Columbia River Highway. On the edge of, beyond Woodard, but on the edge of town.
I see if it was about,
Oh, that was my call.
okay, there you go, Nick can talk about it.
That was actually, was it around, I don't know, what, 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon?
Could be, I was thinking it was a little afternoon, but there was there was a lot of people, there was yelling, talking to the individual, and arrest happened.
Yep, that was my call. It was a guy that was seen on surveillance cameras on a residence that he was not supposed to be at that location. And we showed up there and he had tried to burglarize the house. He broke into the vehicle out front. And when we confronted him, he was extremely uncooperative and erratic. And we ended up taking him to jail for unlawful entry to a motor vehicle and criminal trespass, and not a burglary charge because he did not actually make entry to the house.
So, do you know why it doesn't appear on the report?
I'm not sure, there must have been some kind of technical error on the report you received, because I have it on my call for service log.
You do?
So I don't know, it may not have gotten translated in your packet, I'm not sure, but I'll make sure it gets redistributed to you.
Okay. Okay, because I was just concerned that, wow, if we're not getting all the reports of all
No,
the
I'm not
things
sure
that
what
it's
happened.
showing, and we're not, our stats aren't really right, so that was just, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna see it on the report. There's nothing that happens in my neighborhood, man, this is a big deal, so. So, okay, yeah, I would be interested.
I'm not sure what happened, we'll figure it out though.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, does anyone else have questions? Oh,
maybe online.
nope, okay. All right, thank you, simple month, except for this. It was a big deal to me. Okay, so moving on, number 6 on the agenda.
Shelby?
Yes,
Hi, Paul Wilcox, Troutdale.
yes.
Didn't hear an invite for public comment. I had a couple observations. First one, Captain Stewart covered the kind of question of 3 cars stolen from the same location on the same day. Seemed kind of unusual. The other observation I had was I saw there were 46 calls for service priority 1 and 2. Only 2 of those were priority 1. I went through and noted the response times for each. I found 7, I just chose an arbitrary number of 5 minutes. I found 17 of the 46 exceeded 5 minutes. I'm not going to go through and cite all 17, but I just wanted to mention a couple of those that stood out in particular. On 214, there was a disturbance with weapons. That was a response time of 7:42, and a restraint order on 220, response time of 10:23. You show a average response time of just under 4.5 minutes 424 to be exact. So I don't know, I want to make the point that the reporting averages can be deceiving because you've got, for every call under 424, you've got one over to 424. So I just wanted to make that point. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Paul. All righty. Moving on. Okay, so item number 6, follow up on the safety survey action items. You guys have in your packet, I thought, well, we should probably go through the comments that people had and see if there's any action on our part that we could take or bring to somebody's attention. So that should be in your packet, item number 6. I don't know how many pages it is, but it starts with additional comments or concerns. So that's what this was on your agenda. Go ahead, Sherry.
Okay, thank you. So where it says item 6, bottom of that first page, and there's, the survey is focused on finding specific data with stats to finance a new fire and police department as a way to criminalize poverty. Do we know, like, who put this comment in, or like a way to address it? Because if you're listening, that is not what this survey had to do with. We promise that's not the reason we put it together. I feel like that's a bit misleading, and I hate to think that that's what somebody would think about this survey. And I had noticed in a couple other comments when I had read through that, somebody is, and I think we talked about it before, they said, oh, here it is. Need to look at actual crime statistics, not rely on subjective feeling unsafe. We address the issue of, we wanted just to know how people felt. Feelings are legitimate.
Right.
We recognize feelings as a reason you might not leave your house. We can provide you with statistics, but we want to know feelings. So we want to know what people thought. So I was just, some of those things when I had read through, I was noticing, and I thought, there's a few others I felt like, I'm not sure if it's generated by somebody outside of actually Troutdale, because it felt like, I don't know, sort of a bit of what was said. I probably should have marked it down here a bit better. Anyway, it didn't feel quite as authentic to me. And then one other thing was, there was something with, it says, please reach out to Springdale Job Corps Center to speak with our staff and students. And I'm unsure as to what that means.
Yeah, you got me, but that's one of the things I said, I guess I should follow up and call them.
Okay.
So I've underlined it myself to call them, but yes, that's exactly what I thought we could go through. And if you guys had any comments on anything, and we can just go through, or we can do a page if anybody has any comments on the first page of them. I don't know, what's the best way to do it? I went through and kind of underlined and made notes on each page of things I thought might be action items. Some of them, I couldn't figure out what we would be doing with it, other than they were responding back to us. So, Twyla, do you have something?
Oh, I was thinking, I like the idea of maybe just giving us a minute and we can do it page by page.
Yep.
And see what comes up for us.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Should I set the 1 minute timer?
No, I don't, I want to give you guys a chance to read them enough, but I mean, just let me know when I get enough of those looking out.
Are we going through the whole thing? or-
No, I think we're doing one page.
Okay.
Just one page?
Yeah.
Yeah, so are you guys ready to, does anybody, I just start around the room, if you have anything that you want to point out, Twyla, you want to say?
Yeah, I think on the first page, one theme that came out for me was the homelessness piece. And I know we have the Hope team, and I was just wondering if they ever put out like little newsletters or things that we could maybe put into the champion more frequently, so people realize that we recognize this as an ongoing issue, and these are the things that are being done about that. Because I know we see it from time to time, but
It's a good
people
idea.
don't see it, so they think nothing's happening.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Well, and the fact that the champion only comes out every other month, so to speak,
Yeah.
already, it could be every time and it could still
Yeah.
not feel often enough.
Yeah.
I think that's a really great idea, I really do think
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yep, I'll work on that.
Anyone else have anything else on the first page? Victoria, do you have anything that you want to point out?
The results are already out, right?
Yeah.
So that one, the third one.
Third
down,
one down.
um,
Yeah, we posted it on, since I don't know this person, we can't, unless they were one of the people that gave me an email that they got the results.
Right.
You know what, not that anyone necessarily got the information from doing it on our water bill thing, but it might be nice as a follow-up that a little blurb be put on, see the results, and if there's a hot button click to get to it, or, like the URL or something like that. So at least it's there.
For the one person that found it on their water bill. I know we care.
I'm just saying, like.
No, I totally get it. Yes, that's a good idea.
I think it probably, as long as they aren't overcrowded with already some announcement, if there's really nothing else, it couldn't, for the one or two people it might catch, we should just put it on there if it's.
Or it might be that somebody goes, what? There was a survey?
Yeah.
I better read this a little more carefully.
Okay, so I'll see if we can't put something on that says that the results are on, because I believe they're on our homepage. I looked before, but I haven't looked recently to see, so. Okay,
Second from the bottom, where are the public meetings posted for Troutdale? Possibly post more on this forum. That's somebody obviously making a request or doesn't know. On this forum, what are they talking about?
I know.
yeah, I'm not sure about that forum where this would have been, because.
Robbie's not here to help us.
I know,
Darn.
because this was on the Google Doc, so I don't know unless they got it from the Troutdale's website.
Well,
we do
Robbie posted some stuff on
Next door.
Nextdoor things
yeah.
or something like that. So, if that's the forum they're talking about, and we have more than one Troutdale, I think we have Upper Troutdale and stuff like that, it might be good if we're connected in such a capacity that even post, hey, upcoming public safety meeting,
Right.
or something like that. If this person is saying it and from a forum, it might be a useful thing for us to try and follow up on.
Yes, okay, I'm writing check with Robbie to figure out where he posted maybe, so that we could then know, because
Yeah.
I don't know otherwise. I know it's posted, these meetings are posted on Facebook and the Troutdale webpage. I know for sure, because I've actually gone and looked and seen them. I'm not usually on Facebook, but I've actually seen them before, so.
And so maybe, I don't know if it is, but if there's results or, anything, does this meeting stuff come out on that Facebook post saying public safety?
Yes.
They do, yes.
Because Facebook seems to limit whatever I see, I'm gonna have to actively go search for something I don't always remember to. You know what I mean? Like you see the same few people's posts all the time. Or the ad you accidentally looked at showing up in 25 zillion different ways? Yeah.
I
okay.
don't
Yeah.
want the shoes.
Yeah. I thought they looked cute, but.
So, okay, so I'm gonna just check with Robbie to see where he posted it, or just,
It could have also been the downtown when we were on the first Friday too.
could be, yeah.
Because we talked to a lot of people.
So I really don't know, I
Yeah.
guess we recheck that we're posting the
Yeah.
meetings in all possible places.
It's just when it says possibly post more on this forum.
I know,
Okay,
I don't know where it's
Enough
at,
said.
so I don't know what to say on that. The other one I had was, let's see, the middle, the homeless issues, drug issues, not enough cops patrolling in Troutdale, our mailbox has been broken into. I was thinking that perhaps this dovetails into neighborhood watches. So that would be an action item that we're already trying to possibly work on, is getting neighborhood watches started. So, however we're starting that, that might help address that issue. And I didn't know how we get more activities for teens. That's that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 one down or something. More activities for teens other than what happens with the, I mean, we already heard last night from one of the people on our committee, he's gonna do a family game night. I mean, just another, try to have other opportunities for families, teens, whatever, through the Parks and Rec.
the individual from Reynolds hasn't joined us yet, right?
No, not, gonna be gone this month because,
Okay,
but yes, we got somebody that signed up. He communicated with me, but he said he couldn't make this first meeting, so.
I just was thinking if there's a link and things going on at Reynolds that could be helpful
yes.
in being better
Because-
advertised potentially as possible links with,
Yeah.
What they can
Because
do
does that still happen? Wasn't there, the sheriff used to do basketball on Friday nights at one of the schools? Was that, that's,
I don't know.
no, the police league used to do something? Okay. Maybe
Do we
maybe
still-
that's so many years ago. It's like, it could be decades ago that happened. I just remember, I swear we used
I
to
think
see
it was a
that.
while back.
Yeah, so that hasn't been, that used to be, I think, an outlet.
well, yeah, or further in town, there was something called PAL, I think, that was Police Activity League.
Yeah, okay, but I still thought it was out here and thought it was in Walt Maury years ago.
Yeah, I believe though there was something with, do they still have
Yeah, the Police Activities League, yeah.
and do they have an officer that frequents at Walt Maury? Okay, I was thinking there was a link there too at one point too, but.
Okay, next page.
You want to stay
We should
consistent?
put our pencils down.
Okay, I'll start on the other side this time. Sherry, you want to say anything about this page?
So I'm not entirely sure if this is anything that we have anything to do with, short of passing the information on to code compliance or something like that, I guess, but, and asking the question. But the very top one in the, why is the city giving out home-based business permits and not checking on their compliance? And that would be concerning to me if somebody is having some major business. I mean, simply for the power grid source and the kind of drawing the line and stuff. So years ago, I know somebody was doing some like shop work, mechanical, or like fixing cars type stuff in my neighborhood, and that got put the kibosh on because welding and all sorts of stuff had a big draw on the power grid. So, but I don't know how to address that in the spot where that, what that would be, but that does seem like we pass that along.
I was just gonna say, we have no idea where this is at, so we have no idea, and actually, if we knew, we'd say, oh, please contact code enforcement, that's what you're supposed to do. Or actually talk to your neighbor first, and if that doesn't work out, then maybe you talk to the city.
Well, and so that might be though, like if on that first page when it said report and action plan, and it could very well be that giving people information on if you're seeing this, contact code enforcement or, you know, whatever.
I guess we could make sure, it usually does say that in the Champion. I've seen articles when they've said stuff about that, reminding people about contacting code enforcement when you have some issues, but we could just add something else to the Champion to remind people when you face, we could specifically talk about that, I guess.
Okay, and I
What do
would
you guys
say, that's great, and I know we are big reliers on the Champion, but some people don't read the Champion.
Okay, so put it on Facebook or put it on.
So I feel like, I mean, and it's not like posting a big sign, call your code enforcement officer for everything, but you know what I mean, like, there might be something like, I haven't looked at the Facebook or the website page to know what, if there's anything there, like troubles with or
I
whatever.
feel that is one thing that is really well communicated, is the code enforcement. Because that's usually my first stop when I have an issue. And I talk to the neighbors frequently too, and they utilize it. They recognize it though because of the Champion from reading it, because they do quite a few articles about.
That's where I've read it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like that is one of the things they do, that department, a good job of getting their face out there and what they do. It's too bad we don't know who the person is because
Right,
it's hard to follow up. It feels like it should be a one-on-one follow-up because it's not a trend.
Right.
But without that ability,
right.
I think,
I think the only other thing is there was somewhere where somebody does talk about, that's probably another page where they talk about, you know, leaving things out at the curb and having free
Yeah.
things and stuff like
Sandy
that.
Palisades, I think it said.
Oh, did it say that where it said it wasn't Sandy?
In somewhere in here later on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that same kind of idea, I was thinking code.
I am that person. I love to put free stuff out. It just disappears.
It just disappears.
Offer up, come on, come to my corner. Oh, this
Okay,
person hates me.
and as far as this page, otherwise, I would say, I feel like most of it is talking about how they want more visibility in police, in kind of a few different ways. Want our own police department because they felt like they could. I mean, up there it says, I used to see the police out walking.
Yeah.
Okay, that must have been quite a while ago because I don't feel like that's happened very much.
Oh, the
but-
police actually walking, I didn't catch that.
No, I think when she was out.
Oh, got it. And I do think that is one thing that the city has heard and is, in the negotiations and such is one of their talking points is that community policing aspect that we hear from the community that resonates with them, so.
Right. Yep, I think you're right. And some of these get addressed with, they were talking about not good ramps. And then not liking the new ramps on Buxton. So it's like both ways, not good ones, and then the new ones are a waste of money, and so, yeah, it's,
When I read feedback in my position at work, if you have one and one, they cancel each other on to the next.
yes. Okay, so,
And I've watched people run red lights in front of deputies, nothing's done. Well, I think that this sounds like you guys are trying to stop people more
Right.
before traffic's up already, so.
And I think it's hard too, because a lot of the deputies are actually on their way, you know, it's not really their patrol area, and so they're on their way out, and I don't know
Yes.
that everybody knows that.
yes, that's very true. Okay, so I just have overall on this one. Oh, I thought also watching our neighborhood policing and accurate reporting, again, I thought that led into neighborhood watches.
Yeah, I marked that too.
Yeah, so, okay, just all still along the same lines, but still information getting out about code enforcement stuff. I don't know if there's other ways other than the champion, but okay, I'll add that to the list. Okay, the next page. And to tell me when you're done and want to read it, maybe put your pencil down, I don't know.
I would just like to say this is my favorite comment of all time on this page.
Oh, I know, yes, I know what it is.
Aren't you in here, Matt?
I don't know. It's about time for them to be running again too.
Yeah.
Did one of you guys write the comment number one?
No,
I wonder who knew Robbie.
I think Robbie had indicated in something before that he,
Oh.
some of the people in his neighborhood or whatever, he,
Yeah.
And it's true about the street lighting. There's lots of ones that aren't working, but I think part of it's Multnomah County and part of it.
Oh,
yeah.
and if we could address that in some type of a follow-up, it would be, if it's a county light, there is a website for reporting, and you report it, and then they come out and they fix it. Because there was one in my neighborhood that went out. And just be prepared for an even brighter one when it comes back.
Yeah,
Because now my light sensing lights out front hardly come on because, wow! Can't see the stars anymore at my house.
It's a bright light. It's
Oh,
an LED.
that is a good point. You may want to burn out. Mary's got aqua lanes in this one too. I would like to call out that Robbie and Mary are very popular.
So glad
I think
Mary's
that
on the
was by,
committee.
a gal who used to be on the CAC committee,
Oh,
like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. Yeah,
awesome.
I was trying to get her
To get her to
to
fill
come
out.
back to.
Oh, to come back too, yes, okay. That's good, keep trying. Okay, I'll start with you, Victoria, on this one. Do you have anything that you want to highlight?
well, like I said, the street lighting,
Yeah.
and then
What do you think,
have,
do you think then we just put something in the Champion and online on how to report that? That's probably a good idea.
for Multnomah, I think for, yeah, and then tell us where to report ours. I think it's Public Works. I'm not positive. And then we did just have the disaster preparedness.
Yeah.
So evidently,
Maybe we need to figure out when the next one is,
Looks
and
like there was
they have
something
them once a
today.
year.
just once a year?
Yeah.
And what'd you say, Twyla?
Oh, on the calendar day, there was something in Spanish that was also happening today
Oh,
for Troutdale. I was looking at that. Please hold. Taller de preparation para emergencias. So it sounded like maybe they were doing one for the Spanish-speaking
Spanish, oh.
community
Oh.
today
wow, okay,
in Fairview, but it's on our calendar.
okay.
And I only took Spanish 101 in high school, so that is why I am sorry if I will do better in the future.
So you might want to advertise that more so they know.
More in advance or
Yeah.
whatever. So you think they run it they run it each fall and it was last November?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yes,
But possibly with interest or whatever, maybe there would be a reason to possibly do one before the fall. And maybe if it is, it could be linked in with maybe like Wood Village, Fairview, whatever, like a,
Don't they have a wildfire one coming up also? Yes, there is in the Palisades neighborhood, I believe it was in the, it was in the Champion. Once again, there's one coming up on wildfire preparation also.
oh, okay. Is that what?
And I believe it was in the Sandy Palisades because they are more, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, isn't that what Dakota was saying, something about wildfire preparation last night?
Yes, and I
And I
read
did-
it somewhere too, though.
Okay, you read it.
well, and on here, there's that third of the last one, disaster preparedness related to fire-wise and fire safety. And on parks before, they've talked about, because there's only really one exit point out of the Sandy Palisades
That was the
neighborhood.
reason it was there, yes.
And because, it's such a big loop, if there was fire running up the hill, they'd end up in a line and, like not getting out. So they spent time last year with they had some collection bins in that neighborhood for extra debris to try and pursue clearing out some wasted,
Oh, right, that would be fuels for.
that could just
okay.
potentially make it worse or something like that. So, yeah. Anyway, okay.
Okay, so I think we just see what we can find out about when the next one is, advertise, and address also maybe something that's happening.
Around smelt?
Yes.
Maybe when it
Yes.
runs, the 2 days.
So I wondered though, at the top, do you guys think anything about, I don't know, is this just, have you ever had this issue thinking about the stop signs are not on the level, they're on the hill? I don't drive up that way a lot to turn around, so it's not.
I don't understand what they're talking
I'm
about.
not sure either.
I thought they meant that the
What are they
stop
talking
signs
about?
are on the downhill, so all the cars going across don't have to stop. And they wish the stop signs were on the level and the people going up the hill didn't have to stop. That's what I
I'm
understood.
not sure that, I don't know, it didn't resonate with me.
Neither.
And I feel like it's kind of outside of our scope too.
Okay.
I don't,
Okay, I didn't know if we could make
maybe
a
they had like an
recommendation.
exact example, but I live on the
And
hill
you
and
never
I'm
think
like,
about that, that's not a problem, yeah.
No.
Okay, okay, so,
Okay, so
Unless they're talking like, yeah, these, I don't know.
there are a few on the east side of Buxton here. I know it because I ride bike.
where you have to stop on
There's
the
some of the
uphill?
steep ones, yeah, they're coming down, like, let's say from the elementary school up there, if you're coming down, some of them, not that very one, but maybe this way a bit, you would be stopping at some of them coming down,
Unless
as
they-
opposed to these ones that, you know, the road that runs up behind the elementary school, I can't think what it's called.
Sandy.
Sandy, yeah.
Okay, so that one, as it comes down, then it curves around, it comes all the way out to Buxton, and anything intersecting with it is a stop.
But I think the stops are meant also to slow people down, because if you don't stop, you could get,
Airborne on the
like,
through.
that's the way people speed down Sandy.
Yeah.
Is because there's no stop signs for that whole way, and then people fly down there every
Yeah.
morning, and you're just, please don't hit a child. So I actually like the stop signs, because they make people slow down.
I'm not saying they're not warranted there
Yeah.
necessarily, but I would just say that that could be where they're talking about.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can't think of the neighborhood very many spots where that would be.
No.
Okay, well, I think that, good. I don't know, I didn't know if anyone noticed that, so, okay. Let's go on to the next page.
Can I just make one
Oh,
comment
sorry,
on it,
Sharon.
since you, just that big paragraph one, to me, it's talking about not spending time on extra things.
Oh, that's right. I
You
did
know,
underline
like,
some
you're not
stuff.
going out to a movie if you can't pay your mortgage. So just kind of focusing on the important things that are more critical. And honestly, that's not necessarily what our whole survey was about. We were trying to understand some stuff, but it is true, when we try to add all the extra things that might cost money, that maybe we're missing the important things because we're not being good stewards of the city's money.
Right.
But anyway, okay, that's all.
Oh, what about me and my free pile? Try not to be a nuisance.
Okay, I'm gonna go, Mary, with you, start with you. Do you have anything on this page that you?
Do you know anything about the explosives at Douglas Cemetery?
I tell you though, if we could figure that out, we
Yeah.
would be
I mean, is there-
next door heroes,
Is
all
it-
the booms.
Do
Do
you know
you
anything
hear?
about these explosions?
What's that?
That's him, Nick.
Behind Douglas Cemetery?
Yeah,
I don't know anything about it. I haven't heard a word about it.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it either.
So
I'll
they
look
must
into it.
not be, it must not be getting reported, they're not actually taking the time to report it, I guess.
maybe.
They just
It's
don't know.
all over next door when it happens. And I
it
work
is
with
over.
two residents of Troutdale, and when they found out I was on this committee, the first thing they asked about were those explosions that happen from time to time over there.
Well,
I've
if,
heard, I mean, I've seen it too.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
I've heard it.
we're not that far from it, and it's like, I haven't heard it, but.
I mean, but clearly here it says for the past decade plus.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
That's a long
And
time.
innumerable reports of explosions.
So we should try to figure out whatever we can figure out on this. I don't know what we do, but.
It might be fireworks, I don't know, or 80s or something, but I know they're happening
Kids in the house.
because my dogs only react to fireworks.
Oh,
I can tell you this, I mean, I've worked out here for 13 years and I've heard people bring this up over the years and I have never once in my career heard this happen.
so wow.
It's like,
Well, I'll pull some data and see if maybe, I haven't heard of this either, but we'll take a look into it.
I'm curious, is the cemetery considered private or is it,
Private.
it's private? Okay.
that's owned by Metro, right?
I
Is it the
I think
historic
you
one
have to
right there?
pay, I know family members that are buried there and you have to pay them. You have to pay the county to do it, but I don't know.
Just wondered if there's a way, like,
They
any
have
cameras or
on it?
anything could be put up in there.
Might see ghosts.
Well, even if we had some way to even know what time, but people, if they would tell us when it's happening, I guess.
Yeah, maybe if Robbie could tell us, I feel like on some of them, he knew how we could follow up because he could see the comments linked and if they left their connective stuff. So maybe Robbie will have
Okay,
a little info on, for that for us too.
I love our little tech guru, that's great.
And also the parking issue of all the extra, boats and ski-doos. Somebody is upset about that, and
Yes. So again, maybe that ties back into that code enforcement.
Yeah, that's what that seems like.
They seem like they've figured a way to get around the system.
Yeah.
So it's like 2 days you can park your car or something, and then they move them.
Yep. Okay, how about
Somebody make
anybody else got anything else on that page?
well, I question this person who's questioning our survey.
I know. They don't like our survey very much, do they? They really,
Well,
it's really grassroots, so.
but the one thing that we're trying to limit the amount of pages and whatever, and when we talked about the purpose, like, we wanted people to understand why we were doing what we were doing, and we felt limited on what we could do even with that. So,
Yes.
I mean, I feel like in that regard, this is somebody maybe that wants their own, company, or they want somebody else to be able to do it, and this is not, that was not what this was about. It's even like, that's why we were counting feelings, because
Right.
we realize it's not always the same measurement for everybody, but yeah, so.
Okay, next page. We have 3 more pages to go, you guys.
While we're perusing this, that fixing the Start Street Bridge, do you know anything on when they're opening it up?
It's open.
Today.
Oh, it
It
did?
opened today.
Fully
Yeah.
open?
Yeah, I drove across it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just Monday, there's a rededication, a ribbon cutting thing for an hour. 12 to 1, 12:45 to 1:40, I don't know, there's
Okay.
is in the middle of the day, they're gonna have it closed for a little bit.
Oh, my
We
goodness.
could reach
but
out
it's
to this
open.
person and say, we finished.
Yes. We're all celebrating, believe me, everybody is, and even the businesses in downtown Troutdale are, because maybe won't be as congested.
Hey guys,
Yes.
I dialed in on my lunch break, so I got to go back to work.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry to cut things short. Sounds like I'm in the right direction, and the comments are, the appropriate responses. So hang in there. I'll catch up with you guys later. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks all.
Pretty much a repeat.
I do see one called out. That resonates to you.
Go ahead,
Maybe you
Twyla.
got it. No, I don't want to.
No, I'm waiting on you. I put my
Oh,
pen down.
okay. It is kind of a joke. I do think we need a bigger, better Christmas tree.
I did underline the yellow in that
It's
area.
looking pretty sad. It's not growing very fast. Yeah. If you look at like the Gresham and all the other ones, they're just,
Is it a natural one?
the one that we have, yeah. And it has not weathered the last few seasons very well, so it's got a lot of character.
Does it need fertilizer?
Oh, yeah. Okay, but otherwise, what do you guys see there?
Yeah, it feels like you're right. Most of this was applicant.
Other than the one that our ham operators and all that stuff, let's get them signed up, make sure we have their info there. They could help us with emergency preparedness, so.
Yeah, this is Sherry. I feel like overall, there just keeps on being a strong discussion with a sadness that we let our police department ever go. That we need to be, more accountable with the money, where we're spending it, how it's being spent, or whatever, in relation to stuff like this. And yeah, I feel like there's also a little bit of discussion on, homeless, too much money being spent on, homelessness.
Okay, I will say, let's go on to the next page.
Well, one I didn't understand. What does the job corps want us to reach out for? Are they gonna help us with something, or?
I don't know, that's why I gotta call them. I've underlined and said, call.
Boy, a lot of people want to get rid of our free stuff.
I wonder what they mean.
Which one?
Get rid of the free stuff, but keep the.
One of them said get rid of all the movies and Santa, and
Got it.
I thought, oh, those aren't that expensive.
Oh, yeah. Should we just go through the end since the next
Yeah,
one's
okay,
only?
yeah, go ahead and read the part of the next page, and we'll do these last 2 pages, this page and a half together, so.
I don't know what we can do about the coyote.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what we do about coyotes, you're right.
I mean, I go for a walk and sometimes up by the post office and stuff, they're just sitting there. They just look at you,
Oh, my.
I mean-
wow.
so close, and they're just staring at me.
Really?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I wonder if somebody, is it your turn to go first?
I don't know, I don't have to go first, doesn't matter to me. I will say though that if I am, that I wonder if the way these comments are broken out based on areas, that maybe the one that made a comment about something, it shows up later related to another section. Anyway, because obviously there was some stuff modified on our survey that we would have rather had it one way than the other way, and that's kind of a discussion on what it is here.
Oh, you
too.
mean that, well, we wanted no basis for the opinion.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that because we didn't have that ability. Yeah, that was our original thing, but they don't know that, and I don't know.
Okay, so I think when I review these 1.5 pages, I'd say that there's some items on here again about code enforcement that seems like, you know, getting that information out there so people would understand. And, you know, because that one at the top about broken down vehicles parked on the neighborhood streets nowadays, well, that's nothing the Multnomah County Sheriff's gonna come running through unless it's,
And that's
Right.
under code,
Yep.
and he'll put those
yeah.
things,
So I feel like it's kind of not the same thing. So
they
we-
just have to record it, and he'll come and put them on.
Yeah. Yeah, then I would just say that otherwise, so there's code stuff on here, and then it kind of feels like, again, a discussion on, you know, keeping our police department in Troutdale. And then just, yeah, there's like some miscellaneous things, it seems like otherwise. I'm not sure about that. I don't know if you call it the second to the top one, or, because the one is a carryover on that second page, but sick of dangerous entitled scofflaws entering the outlet mall, exiting the truck stops and racing up and down the streets, yet the sheriff has plenty of time to hassle people on the historic highway. I think we talked about, we've seen how people say they're not stopping people on the historic highway, so. Is this one and one cancel out?
Yeah.
Yeah, one and one cancel
It's
out.
all okay.
Yeah.
I probably have it very, I'm really kind of, I have an unpopular probably comment, but I'm really surprised.
Was there somebody having a concern about not stopping people on the historic highway?
In previous stuff, there's been stuff indicating that there can be an officer on the historic highway going some direction, and there's somebody flagrantly doing something wrong, and the officer just by. There's been talk about that before, and then, and.
Okay.
You can't-
I can tell you for the last almost 2 weeks, I've been down there almost every single day doing a targeted patrol down there and doing speed enforcement regularly during the day. And during those daytime hours, I have stopped a handful of people because the speed has not necessarily been a problem during the daytime. During the evening, I know it's been a problem, but I'm not there at that time. But I have been focusing a lot of attention down there in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and this comment, I think in particular, Nick, this is about racing up and down streets, other streets, yet not, you're worried about getting somebody on the old highway, but these streets they're doing stuff on. I think that's what this comment was about, and you can't be everywhere, so.
Can't be. So Larry, were you saying, you were gonna say?
Yeah,
I was just gonna say that, I'm surprised to see the comments about people wanting Troutdale police back. And I guess for me, I've had good contact with the county sheriff since they've been in. And I think people need to realize also, there's been COVID, and I think that really, it's not the agency, it's so, anyway. But, I'm just saying, I'm surprised that a lot of people want that back. I didn't realize that a lot of these.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that
Yeah.
never wanted it gone.
I know.
yeah.
I mean, initially, I didn't want it gone either, really, but, we're gonna have to do what's.
The only other thing is that third one down on that first of those last two pages we were looking at. And there might be something there that also could get advertised in such a way when it says, why is it so hard to get through to non-emergency? When people call and report crimes, what is the process and when does something actually get on the stats as an incident?
Do you know when you call non-emergency, does it let the, like when you call in other places, it says, you can also do this online. Does it prompt people that they have the ability to put in a non-emergency?
I don't think so, because everybody in the region uses
The
OA.
same one?
So
Okay.
it'd be individual per agency.
You'd have to know that you could go online and put that
I mean, it's on our website, obviously.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
call in.
Okay. So that might be another thing that we could, for people that just need to report that,
Encourage.
somebody stole something from their front yard, to use the online. I don't know how many, if we've done
So
a
we
good
just
job.
advertise, make sure that that's on there, that just,
I don't know,
rather,
I think people give up though because it takes so long
Doing the online
to
one?
report.
Yeah,
Online, not online, yeah.
because that's what I was saying, is I wonder if people knew about, if it is truly a non-emergency, you can save so much time and get the same outcome by using the,
Yeah, maybe if something was on the website, in the Champion about kind of a did you know? And, kind of, yeah. You might not read it if you haven't had a reason to do it, but the time when you do need a time, you might not have the Troutdale Champion sitting by you.
Yeah.
But it might be you go to the website or something. I don't know if it's on the county website or,
Yes,
yeah, just like what you can do.
Well, even, is that something we could put on Nextdoor and Facebook even?
Yeah, just sort of an informative little,
yeah, little blurb or something.
yeah, maybe that's what we'll do, a little informational. Read our next informational book, Wednesday's notes.
I learned the hard way. I waited on hold for long enough that my salary, I then made up for the price of what I lost, and I decided my time then was worth more and I was gonna hang out. And then I figured out about the website.
okay, so yeah, I think that's probably a great idea to just remind people if they have non-emergency, that you don't just have to call and wait, that there's a way to record it online. So I think that's good. Okay, anyone else have any more comments on the last of the comments from our survey? People's comments from our survey?
Maybe online. Oh, public, no.
Yep, I just did have one more, I just underlined something else. Oh, I said, yeah, being corrected maybe right now. The sidewalks on Buxton near Fifth being ADA compliant and overgrown shrubs and sign poles intending wheelchair access. That's probably happening with all those corners that they're redoing right now.
Yeah.
That's what I said, that's what
Well-
my note was, being corrected probably right now.
Maybe, but the thing with overgrown shrubs or sign poles impeding wheelchair access, that can be sign poles in places on sidewalks
Not,
midway through. So they could have just done some fantastic curb ramp and you go 10 feet up. I think it's even on the road where the post office is, and you just go a little ways up and there's some type of a pole in the road that you would never get the wheelchair through. I mean, in the sidewalk.
Okay,
So it's kind of, I mean, and I don't know what they actually, we just have to widen out like a big swoop into part of the landscape or something like that maybe, but I just mean like that might be what somebody's complaining about here too.
so we should check that out because it is Buxton a county road or is that our road? That's a county road. Yeah, so see, then we're probably fighting, but we could call it to their attention, but it would be harder to get it fixed, so.
We'll narrow it.
That's right.
Because that's what they're doing in 257. When I went on that walk, they said they were gonna get rid of all, remember?
Yes, they do.
All of the hazards, like the poles and the trees and the overgrown brush, and then all of a sudden, let's narrow it.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so,
Narrow Buxton, I don't know what you, there's nowhere to go.
okay, so now I'm gonna open it up to public comment. I don't know if you guys looked at our packet, but if you had any comments about the comments we had on our surveys, and we're trying to figure out some action items, so I didn't know if any of you online have any comments. If you do, go ahead and unmute and state your name.
Hi,
Go
this is Frank Stevens, City of Troutdale. I had a question for Chief Stewart concerning the Hope team. Are they all back on shift, or or is it still only I mean, how many we had 3 or 4?
Yeah, so we have Sergeant Gertman, he is full-time. We are having one of the deputies come back full-time on the 17th. And then we just interviewed for a BHC counselor position that'll be attached to the team. They're technically a corrections counselor, but they will be attached to the team to go out in the field and help manage our peer who's also out there. So at this current moment, we have 1 full-time. We have 2 that are doing part-time overtime missions, and then we're gonna have the other one full-time back on the 17th.
Okay, so and how long were they back on patrol?
I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, so I want everyone to be aware of the fact that we haven't had the Hope team for a while, so having them back is a great thing, and I really appreciate the efforts that they've been putting in. Also, a shout out to I don't know his last name, Officer Nick, for taking care of a vehicle down on the Chalk Trail that was running a power cord over to the ODOT power station and helping get that situation taken care of. Nothing but great help from you guys, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Wow, okay. All right, anybody else? Okay, I'll close public comment on that agenda item. So, moving on, let's see, that was number 6. So number 7, National Night Out discussion. Okay, well, I'll tell you guys, at this point, I have made contact, I've had a little bit of contact with the Wood Village person who coordinates that, and she was willing to meet with me individually, and I said that whenever the time was that it worked out, I would maybe bring, if it was worked out, bring my vice chair, or actually I'll send it out to any of you guys that if you want to come and listen. I'm not sure, I tried to bring up maybe coming to one of our meetings, and I haven't heard back. She just said it offered at first that I could come meet her at City Hall, and she would propose some times if I was interested in that. So at any rate, I don't have much to report on that. And then I did just look up, because I wasn't getting any response, I just looked up what Fairview's was. And I mean, that's the block party idea, and we could talk about if we had ideas, but the other thing I see coming is with all of the finances, with trying to negotiate these contracts, I don't know that the city has extra money to spend on these things right now. I don't mean to shut it down for anybody,
It
but.
doesn't cost a lot of money. You go out and you get donations of the food and things. And you can ask Molly, she can actually charge for the vendors if she wanted to, a minimal amount to set up their tent. Or we can have them come for free. I'd rather them come for free than them come. But there's not a big output of money for this.
Well,
it's all volunteer.
so I think that's what I'm also concerned about when I researched it before, was the amount of volunteer time that we would be asking everybody to do. And I know that.
I could almost run this by myself except for the food.
Okay.
Seriously.
Oh, okay.
You get a date, you talk to Molly, you get a date. Preferably end of August, beginning of September, before school starts. You try and get, like I said, Verizon and stuff will give out backpacks full of school supplies and things like that. The insurance people come out, you get a booth for disaster. Everybody comes out for free. I mean, the FBI, everything, and they all just set up their booths. And I still think it would be great to do it in conjunction with the last movie that's in the park. You have that, it leads into the movie. You know, you get the free hot dogs or popcorn or whatever. The only big thing, and I never talked to Molly about this, but the electricity to run to do the food. I don't know what Imagination Station's like. But I thought that'd be the best place. I mean, I've been working on this for 4 years, seriously. And I mean, it's just a matter of getting the vendors. They're volunteers on their own, none of our manpower. Okay. What we need is the cooks and the food. That's the biggest thing we need to get.
So, does anyone have anyone want to add anything to this discussion?
But like, I think this year's too late because we have to go ask for the food and stuff in advance.
Right.
Because they're all on a schedule of what they donate.
I think that my whole objective was to try to talk to Wood Village and we don't have to do it on their as big a scale as they have, but still to understand.
They don't have a big scale.
Okay, well, that was a huge thing. I thought theirs was a number of people and things that they had, the things that they offered, I thought was quite extensive, so.
Go to Clackamas County.
Okay,
Those are huge.
okay.
I mean, they have drone shows and bands.
This is Sherry. I think the idea of doing something this year to me, it sounds crazy, like not even possible. Think back and Chief Asbo had thought that it would be better if it wasn't in conjunction with another event. But I think it leads to the purpose and why we're doing it. And so we're meeting those. So whatever the purpose is,
But
that's the key, I think.
if you go to other ones, not Montgomery County, Clackamas County, they always have something at the end. So they have all the booths set up, and then at the end they have an offering. They have a band, sometimes the band plays the whole time. They have the drone show. So we could have the movie. That would be our ending.
Twyla.
So we're talking 2026, right?
Right.
I think it might, I'd have to think of it, we could do something fun like kindergarten cop or something like that, although I don't even remember what that's about. But, I mean, there could be something that could tie in safety-wise that might be fun, for a movie, some sort.
There's no.
They would pay attention to natural disasters. But I do like the idea of meeting with that person, just to like hear some of the things that, you know, are the easy lifts and some of the things that are more challenging for them. And then continuing that with the goal for 2026. And then really thinking through, like, maybe when it gets nice, we could go up to Imagination Station and look around, and they do have that area that they have snacks and vending when they have like baseball games and stuff out there. But again, I don't know if that's like the
Yeah,
schools or who's what, yeah. So,
Molly knows all that.
yeah. So I thank you for reaching out to them, and hopefully she's just busy and will get back to us.
I think that she is a busy person. I don't know if she just works part-time too.
Oh,
So that
yeah.
might be another thing. But Wood Village, to me, just when I went, and it just sounded like that would be a lot, but I know Victoria doesn't think it would be. But then I know it's just block party things, but Fairview does theirs, and I just looked on their website and what it talked about doing, and it sounded like on a small scale to try things out a little bit, especially if we ended up tying into our next subject with this neighborhood watch. If we had some neighborhood watch, that would be kind of a natural way to start getting some traction for it.
That's why I said the purpose, the reason we're doing it, like why, because we can have like a fair, like another reason to come together for free stuff, like First Fridays in art or whatever, but if we're really talking the idea with National Night Out and safety and getting to know your, you know, officers and things like that, I mean, I feel like that's the purpose, or that's the direction, or, so to me, that's what I think I have to start with. Maybe that's my, you know, working in a school setting or something. I feel like I gotta have my starting spot. I don't know. So, well, I like it. I like the fact that you're meeting, or, you know, that we could possibly meet with her or something like that.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is I had hoped that I would have something, that's why it's on the agenda, in case I had managed to have that meeting before, but it didn't materialize, so then I could print out something about it. But hopefully I'll be able to meet with her sometime this month before our next meeting and get some feedback. Maybe she'll be able to come to our meeting and present, or maybe she won't. Maybe I just will get the information. But I just kind of want to know on theirs how much effort it is, how many people she has, how much she's finding this. And I know they're well established, they've been doing it for years, but so maybe it's not as much of a lift because people know about it and they do it every year. But I just kind of want to know what's involved with their one. And so anyway, so we'll just have more information hopefully next month for you guys. Okay. Or I'll open that up to anybody online that wants to comment about National Night Out, our discussion on it. Okay, seeing none, we shall go on to the next item, Neighborhood Watch Program. Okay, so I looked into this, and I think I was thinking that the best way, when I was reading about it, is perhaps to start with, you have to have people that want to do a neighborhood watch. That's the key. You have to have, and if people don't see a benefit to it, they're not going to be interested in doing it. So I thought perhaps maybe a good starting point with us is putting together some informational sheet, and when we're at First Friday, maybe if we had, talking about what public safety maybe is doing, and I'm getting on a side detour here about citizen advisory was also going to be trying to promote people on committees. But okay, so if we're all at this, trying to drive people to be involved on committees or coming and talking, but also are they interested in a neighborhood watch? So then perhaps even if we had established, like, okay, we're going to have a meeting you know, a set date when we were gonna maybe try to kick it off, but passing out information at First Fridays and finding out if people are even interested in neighborhood watches. Because that could drive us, if there is interest, and then we have an informational meeting, and that could be all the neighborhoods around the place, but we get people started and help them get started in their neighborhood, then that's just kind of something how we could maybe build. So that, reading through the packet about neighborhood watches, I thought that seemed like a natural place to potentially start. Do you guys have any thoughts on neighborhood watch? Go ahead,
I
Twilight.
just have some, so I think there's a few different models out there. And I think the true model has a partnership with the police department
Yes, it
or the
does.
sheriff's department.
Yes, it does.
And so I think it would be interesting to hear from the captain on, is that something they would support us on, or do we need to look at some of the other models that are not so connected to that support from the,
As far as the neighborhood watch program,
yes.
I think that it really comes down to kind of what you are envisioning for the model. You know, I know we mentioned in some of the past meetings about the community emergency response team models, through emergency management and all that. So, I mean, obviously we'll support it. We have our community patrol in Corbett. I mean, that's interconnected with us. So I think I just need to know more about exactly what kind of model you're looking for.
Does Corbett have a neighborhood watch program?
They have their community patrol program, so it's basically a neighborhood watch program, but they are affiliated, so.
When I looked at the model stuff, it totally was drawing in law enforcement, but it sounded like in the very beginning, you have to figure out if you have any people that are interested. You can get the law enforcement, but, you know, if we don't have anybody that's gonna show up at any meetings, well then, we're going nowhere. We need people to want to do this. They need, and most often, what usually drives it is there is some concern about safety in the neighborhood, and then people are like, well, we gotta connect. I know it happens a lot on Nextdoor, is kind of naturally happens unofficially, kind of, people are networked. So I think that's great, but if we want to go further with that, I think we need to first figure out if there's people that see that there's a real value and want to be interested in participating.
Maybe that's a natural way of us putting together another survey. No, it's just something that might get popped in on Nextdoor, that would you be interested in a neighborhood watch program in your area or something? Because again, out of all the comments that we got, I don't know that we had any that said, woo, why don't we have a neighborhood watch?
You're right, you're right.
And so we might be trying to force something that doesn't need to be, or maybe it's because people don't know enough about it, or they're fearful about their neighbors being in their business, or, I mean, I don't know. But maybe there is some natural thing where we could get information first before we decide we should be implementing something.
Yeah, it almost feels like society has moved to the Ring cameras and the Nextdoor, and it's kind of like an unofficial hybrid of neighborhood watch where we're watching out for each other, but it's just not in that formal structure that we used before, like when I was in grade school, you know, that sort of thing.
This is a
McGruff.
lot harder to put together than a national night out.
But maybe even with this is something for us to be thinking about, and maybe people will reach out, maybe there'll be online comments, you know, or something, but then naturally because obviously law enforcement deals with crimes that happen and people are providing their Ring camera footage toward, you know, helping solve crimes. So maybe if there is more of a community watch setup or neighborhood watch setup, you know, the natural flow of, if I knew you had a Ring camera and I saw something went on, or I knew something went on, I might be able to reach out to you and say, hey, can you check your Ring camera footage for something, so that I can provide all the information when I'm filing the police report. I mean, I don't know. I do feel like there might be we're using some of that and having a little bit more, but if people are interested in it, I think too.
You could just put it on next door and Facebook and stuff. Is anybody interested? You don't have to do a big survey.
And maybe put like a few little dot points of what it means, like attending a meeting, how often, the things that.
And even put it in the champion, maybe?
Yeah.
But when you say not a big survey, I don't think anything should be a big survey, but I do think it's important to have things be anonymous, because some people might not, they want to say that they want to have one, but they don't want their neighbor thinking that they might be ratting them out on some stuff, or, I mean, I'm just thinking like, some people would tend to be more private on some stuff.
Shelby or something. Please, if you're interested in this, please email.
Well, there is just putting it out on Nextdoor or Facebook, there is a private, so to speak, way of responding without anybody knowing, everybody.
Right. I mean, we'd eventually have to
Private
know.
message.
Yeah. Eventually, if you want to be on Neighborhood Watch, you're gonna have to disclose your name. Maybe a little bit of something, because we want to contact you.
I haven't read that much into it, and this may be different, but I remember back in the day, like you would get a sign for your window and then kids would know. And they would do like a
emailed that.
background check.
Yeah,
To make sure you're
I emailed
safe.
that,
Yeah.
and they still have the signs.
But is
They're
that
wanting
for
to
search?
buy everything though.
Is that for search, or is that for?
No,
that's
that-
for Neighborhood Watch?
Yeah, I emailed both of them
Oh, okay.
on how to start Neighborhood Watch, how to start search.
Okay.
Neighborhood Watch, the official Neighborhood Watch, it's sort of like the official national night out. They really want to sell you a lot of stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
They want to sell you all their signs. Even to get certain information on the official national, or not national, Neighborhood Watch, you had to sign up
Okay.
that you were gonna start one, and I didn't want to sign up, so I just sent you the basic how to get one going link. Search much easier, but you have to have lots of support on the search.
Right, I think that's what I thought was our starting point. I think we talked about that last month. Maybe if we got Neighborhood Watches going, then that would be a natural foyer into doing the CERT program. I don't know.
Yeah, in your
So-
neighborhood, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
what we
mean-
thought would be. So that's why I said, okay, we don't have to talk about CERT yet. First, we're gonna just try to get Neighborhood Watch. But
CERT
do-
is sort of way different than Neighborhood Watch. I mean, they're so different.
I think what she's meaning though is that if you get your neighborhood more
Yeah, I
connected.
know, I understand what you're
Okay.
saying.
If they get more connected and interested in looking out for each other, then hey, that kind of works together to help in an emergency, to help your neighbors, to be a team, so.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so perhaps what I'm hearing you guys say is that via Nextdoor, we could put out something, and potentially, you said that you guys think we should put something in the Champion if people are interested in it too? And then,
And maybe on the website or something, if
Yeah.
somebody pops in on that.
so I don't know if the city has a Nextdoor account, do we know that? 'Cause
I
that's-
don't think they do. They just have I remember Dakota saying the Facebook and.
Yeah, I think that Facebook and maybe their Instagram, but
Yeah.
they don't have, I don't think they have a Nextdoor. I'm not on Nextdoor myself,
I'm
so,
not on Nextdoor either.
and so,
I am, but it's like tiny, it's like a little dot.
Little
It's
dot,
not
okay.
the whole area.
so how else would we do it if, I mean, because Nextdoor, it's associated with your neighborhood, kind of? It's a small
Well,
pocket.
unfortunately, every time I've been sent something to sign up, it has like 7 days and, maybe I didn't think about it for the 7 days of whatever, like getting on it. I don't know why. But, I mean, I know my next door neighbor is on it. And so then sometimes coming down the pike, I hear and he says, oh yeah, such and such happened. But clearly it must go out to more than that, because a guy I work with says, oh yeah, I heard you guys had some packages stolen in your neighborhood.
Okay, so
So-
it's a bigger area. I kind of just keep thinking it's a, you know, how does it decide what area, when you sign up, what area you
You
cover?
pick your neighborhood.
But they've got a map that shows you your boundaries? Okay.
So, I mean, I do think, there's probably ways, I don't know what they all are, but I mean, I'm sure there's probably some ways we could get to it.
I'm gonna talk to our tech dude, Robbie.
Robbie knows everything.
Yes. I'll ask Robbie a little bit more to help us on that. Okay, so we will pursue trying to ask a little bit on Nextdoor. Does anyone online have any comments about this? Okay, all right. Okay, well, if you guys don't have anything else, I'll go on to the next item. And that would be update on next month. So next month, we're going to talk about next month's agenda. Here we go. Mr. Frank Stevens is going to be on there, and he's going to talk to us about the cars or the problems along the trail. And, okay, I think, I'll give you guys a summary of whatever's happened on the safety stuff that we talked about tonight too. Survey stuff. I'll give you an update of what I accomplished.
And I might be late. Because I have a Reynolds, project committee, Reynolds Hill District budget.
Oh, on
deadline,
April
so
3rd, April 3rd.
I might be a little late. It's a state sped, sometimes they go fast.
Okay. Okay, so then, and I will hope to have an update on Night Out after talking to Caroline. And I guess I'll put the night watch, I'll give you an update on that, where we're at on that, or. Okay, and do you guys, is that, some of those might be quick. Is there anything else you guys feel like we need to talk about, or we good? That's a good agenda?
Quick meeting is always a good.
Yes. I like to accomplish things, so it's good. Okay, is April 3rd good with everybody at 6:30?
Yep.
Okay, we're on for April 3rd. All right, moving on to committee comments. Let's see, let's start online. Woodrow's gone, so that's right, he's gone. So we don't have anybody else that is. Okay, so how about you, Sherry? You want to go first tonight?
Thanks, good meeting, good discussion, and I appreciate you guys being here.
Mary?
Yeah, good meeting and, look forward to next month.
Okay, Victoria?
Oh, thanks for coming, Zach.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Twyla?
And Paul.
Yes. Good meeting. Regarding the survey, whoever wrote the smelt comment, I just want to thank them personally, because every time I read that, it brightens my day and makes me smile. So, appreciate that person, whoever they are, and all of you, so.
That's great. Okay, yeah, and thank you all. Thank you for bearing with us, going through those comments. I do appreciate us trying to find any action items we could find out of that. And so, yes, thank you for everyone who joined us also online. Wonderful to have you here. Love it. So with that, I will let, anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
This is Sherry, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second Victoria.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you very much for joining us.